sports tonight, I am so in. We're getting our version of the 1980 Olympic team. Let's rally around the United. Maybe I'm being so hyperbolic about it, and I probably am. But in terms of a sport that can be attached to patriotism so much, you can't really do it. You can do it with basketball. You can't really do it with football as much. The World Baseball Classic had it. I don't think it had this level of intrigue. The hockey, the aggressiveness, the point-on nature of everybody just hitting each other. There's so much more of an element of fun to it because of just how violent of a sport hockey is. Baseball, you're still playing baseball. You're not necessarily in each other's face. Basketball, you're a little bit more contacted. But I think hockey's so suited for a political, actual attempt to establish dominance comparatively, because that's the nature of hockey. It's about establishing dominance. And with the Four Nations tonight at 8 o'clock on ESPN between the USA and Canada, the second go-round, this one for the championship of the Four Nations. The NHL nailed this. And politics in sports don't necessarily need to have political messaging in sports, but when politics are intertwined in the element of the game, beautiful, into it. And I think tonight's game is going to be something to behold. Mike, for me and you, can this strike a love for hockey for you?
It already has. It already has. And I'm thinking about maybe tuning into a couple of the NHL games. You know, I'm thinking about tuning into some more Florida Panther games. I think I told you my uncle is a huge hockey fan, being a Bostonian, huge Bruin guy.
That's hockey country.
And he totally blew me away with the seats that he got us at the Florida Panther game when I went to my first Panther game about 3 weeks back. I mean, we were right on the glass. And Colin, the ferocity. I mean, you nailed it on the whole hockey is the perfect representation of we're tougher than you, we're stronger than you. These guys are flying around on the ice. I'm looking at my uncle, and I worked at my local hockey rink in the winter, but I've never seen speed like that on the ice. These guys are going to be flying out there tonight. The crowd is going to be electric. I can't wait to hear the USA chants. And like I said, I hope they don't boo the anthem for the Canadians, which I would put.
Let the Canadians do that.
Right,
let them
right,
do that and then beat them.
But Colin, it's definitely not going to be the case. I think they're going to
boo the hell out of that.
They're going to boo the hell out of that anthem, and I'm not a fan of it. But I can't wait to hear the USA chants tonight. I can't wait to see our boys fight tooth and nail for our country tonight. I know this is, you and Christian will probably call it a loser mentality. I'm just happy to be here at this point. We already beat Canada once. Hockey's not necessarily our main sport. I just think it's so cool that the USA is going toe-to-toe with Canada, who is king of the sport, and we have a chance to win this thing.
Christian Catt, our producer of this very program, not a hockey guy yourself as well. Is this something you'll be we'll get into him in a minute, but I'm curious on his front if this is something that he is interested in.
Now, Colin, are you like me? Like, are you?
I like hockey in the postseason. I think hockey is a bad regular season. I think that the goaltending is not nearly as good, and it's just the defense is not nearly as good. There's too many games. But once the postseason starts, I think hockey is an excellent sport in terms of intensity, environment. It's a great sport to go to live. And I think you finally got a sense of that.
I agree with you 100%.
And there wasn't even a playoff game.
No.
And that was a regular season game.
And
hockey is an excellent sport live.
Colin, Zaz isn't kidding when he says they sell out. Colin, there wasn't a seat to be had on a Saturday afternoon at that Panther game. Not a seat to be had.
And it's funny because if you go to the Marlins, Dolphins, or Heat, you can see empty seats everywhere you look. So it goes to show, if you go to a WWE match or you go to a Fort Lauderdale to go see the Florida Panthers, then you are completely sold out. But if you go check out the Miami Marlins, you got 1,100 people in the building, and you go check out the Miami Heat, and half the people are in the club level sipping cocktails. And then you go to the Miami Heat, and it's this mismatch of whoever the opposing team is. If the Jets are in town, half the stadium's green. So it's weird that the South Florida fan has embodied, so partially because Florida is so good, but they've embodied so well with the actual hockey fandom, and it's always been a hockey town, and I just haven't gotten a sense of that.
Yeah,
but comparatively to other sports, you got to give. I haven't been to a Florida Panther game yet, but based on what you're telling me, it's interesting that is the sport that not a seat to be had, and that's where the energy is.
First off, we should do a contest where the winner goes to a WWE match with Christian Catt, because he is the guy to go to those matches with. He's screaming, he's getting involved. True love. Who'd you say that about at the WWE match?
It's irrelevant, but yeah, it's a great fan interaction moment.
And Colin, if we learn one thing from the WWE is that they don't leave.
They don't leave.
They don't leave,
beat
mate.
Traffic.
They don't
beat
leave.
Traffic. The people beat traffic at the Super Bowl. They don't beat traffic at Monday Night Raw. It's very bizarre. Christian Cat, our producer on this very program, I'm curious on your end. You're not a hockey guy yourself. Does this event spark a little interest? Are you going to be intrigued in this type of thing, or is this being a little played up, hyperbolic on our end?
I'm an absolute patriot. That's how you get me. Like, I love this country. I love the United States of America. So when you brand something such as that, USA versus Canada, yeah, I am all in. That will get the main screen. That will get the volume up. I'm all in on it tonight. I don't care if they were playing cricket. I would be watching if it was as intense of a rivalry as it is with the USA and Canada.
So you're into it because of the patriotism nature. You don't think this will spark any terms of long-term interest in the sport of hockey?
No, because it comes and goes. This happens with like all of these Olympics or world events. I will get in for this, for my patriotism, for my country pride, but I'll kind of drop that sport once it's no longer a part of it.
Christian, I thought I remembered you having a hockey allegiance. No? Don't you root for an NHL team?
I'm a Capitals fan when playoffs start.
Okay.
But I'm not going to fool anybody and act like I watched the regular season games.
That's how I am with the Lightning, and specifically with my brother. So
to go down history's road a little bit, when politics are attached to sports, you obviously think of that 1980 USSR hockey game, which is one of the great moments in American history in terms of from the sporting perspective. You go back to 1972 at that Munich Games where the Soviet Union it's always the Soviets. They beat the United States 51-50 in one of the more controversial Olympic finals for basketball that we've ever seen. USA didn't even go to the ceremony to receive their medal. You go back to 1939. How about this? 1939, Joe Louis, an American heavyweight champion, went against Max Schmeling at Yankee Stadium in 1938. September, the year before Nazi Germany invaded Poland. And Max Schmeling was from Germany, was not necessarily affiliated with the Nazis, but Nazis turned him into a big propaganda machine.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't necessarily want that. And I believe it was Max Schmeling who carried Joe Louis's casket at his funeral. So they always respected each other, but it was one of the big boxing matches of all time. Joe Louis knocked him out in the second round. So there's always, I don't know if it's comparable, but there's a little historical background. And when politics are attached, it's so much more memorable. And whether you think the tariffs is that big of a deal, we're talking about the Cold War or Nazi Germany, it doesn't compare. But for me, I'm going to run away with this because I think it's a whole lot of fun to get into something like this at this point in the year when we're, I guess, clawing for something interesting to happen.
I'm going to say it. I have no problem saying it. This is the biggest hockey match of my life. It's the biggest hockey match of my life.
I don't know about that, man.
It's the biggest hockey match of my life.
You're going to forget about it on Saturday.
No, I'm not. That's not true. Give me a bigger hockey match why I would be invested in.
Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
I don't care. Next.
You didn't care when Florida Panthers...
Hey,
now I do.
You didn't care when Florida Panthers blew a 3-0 lead and it was Game 7 there?
No.
You didn't care when the Columbus Blue Jackets took down the 1 seed in 2018.
That was 2019, I believe. Yeah, that was when Tampa Bay Lightning broke the points record. Basically, the 73-9 Warriors getting swept in the first round by the Columbus Blue Jackets.
I never really had a hockey affiliation. We would
Columbus?
We would run the Blue Jacket games in Cleveland. They were cool. They had a really cool head coach, the Tortorelli guy. He was a good dude. He would come on the show. I didn't grow up in a hockey city. I feel like you what did you say about hockey? It's very what? It's
regional.
Yeah, man.
You went to school in Columbus.
Guys, I never.
How much more regional do you need to get, Mike? It's down the street.
It was Buckeye football, man. You know what I mean? It was like
it's down the street, Mike. You can walk there.
I understand. And I was the guy who was going to Columbus Clipper games. It's the AAA affiliate for the Guards. I was going to Clipper games to look at the prospects, but I wasn't going to the hockey games. So that's on me. You know what? Firm handshakes in the chat. Hands up. That's on me, mate. That's on me.
888-760-3776, and I'm going to get into the program on Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063. We go to the phone lines. Max in Jupiter is joining Russo and Rizzo. Max, hello. What's up?
What's up? Riz, 2010 Olympic gold medal game, Canada-U.S. Not the best day for the U.S., but one of the greatest hockey games ever played from a fan standpoint internationally. Overtime gold medal game. Sidney Crosby obviously beat the U.S. in overtime. So, no, not the biggest one of your life.
There we
Not even-
go.
Okay, fair enough.
There we
All
go,
right,
Max.
So Max,
Thank you. I don't remember the game. I was
Maxie,
8, but
Maxie, to your point, 2010, I was a freshman in high school. I was 15. Yeah.